Now, on the same day, a major crackdown announced against MS-13. That's a notorious street gang infiltrating American streets, especially here in the New York area. It can be a strong magnet for illegals. Earlier today, AG Jeff Sessions announcing a new initiative to fight back against the international drug gang.
With more than 40,000 members worldwide, including 10,000 in the United States, MS-13 threatens the lives and well-being of each and every family in each and every neighborhood that they infest. MS-13 members brutally rape, rob, extort, and murder, guided by their own motto, kill, rape, control. They leave misery, devastation, and death in their wake. They threaten entire governments. They must be and will be stopped. But at the Department of Justice, we have a motto too: justice for victims, consequences for criminals.
That speech today in Philadelphia, this gang often using violence to discourage cooperation with authorities. With me tonight, former advisor to Barack Obama's presidential team, David Morey. David, good evening to you.
Hello, Bill.
And Director of Policy Studies for the Center of Immigration Studies out of Massachusetts, Jessica Vaughan. And Jessica, I want to begin with you. Same day, two issues clearly connected. It's a crackdown on crime. It's a crackdown on illegals in various American cities. Is this Trump administration showing that it has the ability to change the course of these events?
Yes, most definitely, and that they do not view illegal immigration or the presence of criminal aliens as something that we just have to put up with as a force of nature. They know that there's something that can be done about it, that a lot of this comes down to policies, whether it's sanctuary policies, whether it's catch and release policies, or prosecutorial discretion policies at the federal level, and they're working to change those. It's started to make a difference already, but you know, the Trump administration can't do it by themselves. There is congressional action that needs to be taken as well, and there are still these local jurisdictions and states that are trying to undermine the enforcement of federal laws that the American public wants to see enforced. So there's a lot to still do.
Yeah, you both
but they are making progress.
You both heard Claudia's last answer there, David, and that was, is the sanctuary status of San Francisco changing as a result of this trial that now is in day one? And she stated it clearly. If anything, it has hardened the thought in San Francisco that it needs to give people protection. And I'm wondering, when you look at these federal numbers between New York and LA and San Francisco, you have upwards of 6 million illegals who live under this sanctuary umbrella. And you wonder, as a country, how you're able to forge a future for all of these people unless you have some cohesive policy. So I take it to you. What's the answer?
I couldn't agree
here?
more. Bill, I couldn't agree with what you just said more. In fact, we're going to continue to suffer tragedies like the Steinle murder and trial before we have a comprehensive immigration approach. People are scared, and sanctuary cities give people the feeling in some places of protection that you're making them safer. The problem, and by the way, the statistics, if you look at them, show the crime is less or the same in sanctuary cities.
Is that
Here's
true?
my problem. Yes, and we can debate that, but the studies I've seen. Here's the problem. You pointed out in your setup there was no coordination between the state, the municipal, and the federal government. I believe states are the right venue to sort this out. McCain and Johnson had legislation about this in June. I agree with Governor Kasich.
David, the law says the state has to report them to the feds. And
yes.
in this case in San Francisco, that clearly did not happen. So now you're allowing local jurisdictions to dictate what the national law is.
And I agree with you that that's a challenge, and I'm not comfortable with that. We need a comprehensive fix here. We need a lot less politics and more policy on immigration. I don't think the wall is a solution. I think it actually distracts us from solutions because, as Jessica was saying, these have to be comprehensive in their approach. And the sanctuary cities is a really weak place to start.
That would allow local authorities to operate under a separate jurisdiction.
And I don't think that works.
Not be protected or overseen by the federal government.
I agree. I don't think that works.
And now you have a country on two different tracks, and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Jessica, what would be your solution on what David describes there?
Well, the federal government needs to have the authority to enforce federal laws, and states should not be allowed to interfere with those laws. The feds are not asking for the states or locals to do anything for them. They just want cooperation that would be extended to any law enforcement agency. And I think what needs to happen is not only should there be consequences for sanctuary jurisdictions, like losing access to federal grants and potentially injunctions against some of the most egregious sanctuary laws, I think Congress really should step in and clarify that state and local law enforcement agencies are expected to cooperate with federal authorities, especially if they're going to take federal funds.
The solution resides with Congress.
Well,
I do too.
ultimately, I think
David,
that would
yes.
be the best, yes.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Now, I know we're not optimistic about when we bring in the word Congress, but if you look at the constituencies, there's a chance that we could get something done. I'm not sure we can do it before the midterm of next year, but we need to do that because the same problem between sanctuary cities exists vis-a-vis the federal government and states in the federal government. So you need a comprehensive federal solution.
David, I think the problem's only getting bigger. When you look at these jurisdictions, there are more than, these are government numbers now, Center for Immigration Studies, CIS, 300 sanctuary jurisdictions that have been identified by ICE as being non-cooperative or some other state that obstructs immigration enforcement. This number is only growing.
Well, and I think
which suggests that at the local level, they're emboldened by taking their own action.
Well, I think we've gotten very polarized under this administration. We've gotten very politicized, so parties have gone to the respective corners, and that has made it even more complicated to coordinate between federal, state, and city levels.
On that point, Jessica, you wonder if this issue would be getting the attention it's getting unless you had an administration that made it clear and stated from the very beginning that they were going to be, in President Trump's words, the law and order candidate. I'll give you the last word on all that.
Well, there's no question, and what's growing is the number of criminal aliens who've been released by sanctuary jurisdictions and committed more crimes. We definitely have a new approach to this with the Trump administration, and I think they're going to make some progress. Some major sanctuaries have already reversed themselves, like Miami and Milwaukee and Las Vegas and the state of Connecticut. And I think when the hammer of withholding federal funds comes down, there are going to be even more of them that rethink their policies. They ought to do it because of these horrible crimes that occur as a result. But eventually, I think more and more of them are going to come around. There'll be some that are defiant, but there are other tools that the federal government has at its disposal to take care of that.
Yeah, and the
so
AG
it's a good thing for public safety.
He also said $100 million in grants to hire more police officers, too. The impact of that could be significant in time. Jessica, thank you for your time tonight. David, nice to see you as well as this debate continues. Thank you.
Thank you.